We are back now with New York Times bestselling author Patti Callahan Henry. She's written 17 novels. She's here to talk about her latest one called The Story She Left Behind. Actually, this is your 19th, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 19th.
It sure is.
This is based on a true story. Tell us about it.
So I find this subject fascinating. Like, where do ideas come from? What makes a creative want to take something, nothing, and turn it into something? So for this novel, it was a cold case literary mystery, an unsolved disappearance of a child prodigy author named Barbara Newhall Follett. She published her first novel when she was 12 years old.
12 years old?
12 years old, a children's fantasy novel called The House Without Windows. The New York Times called it an act of brilliance, and she was supposed to have this wild literary career, but it failed. And when she was 28 years old, married, she got in a fight with her husband, walked out the door of her Brookline, Massachusetts apartment, and disappeared, and has never been found.
And nothing's been solved.
Nothing has been solved. If you go to Cold Case podcasts, you can hear about her. And all of her work, including a language she created, sits in 16 boxes, gathering dust at Columbia University. And the allure of the unknown, the answers that we want, and so as a novelist is wont to do, I made them
Those
up.
boxes must have been a treasure trove.
Oh gosh, and the language she created, and the short stories she wrote.
What do you mean language she created?
She created an entire language, a lexicon, subjugated verbs, everything, which inspired this novel, which is about a novelist who disappears and leaves behind a sequel written in a secret language.
What happened to her career?
It fizzled out. A lot of things happened. Her father left the family, the Great Depression hit, and her career just never took off. And as she slowly kind of came undone, she walked away from her life and was never found.
So you have the raw material. Where does the spark come from for you?
The spark is this. I was just talking in the green room with Kate about this, how if I feel a spark, like the juice of a story, I ignore that at my own creative peril, right? If something pings me, so originally this novel was going to be about Beatrix Potter. And as I was doing my research, I discovered that Beatrix made up a language so that her mother couldn't read her diary. Isn't that fascinating?
Wow, that really is.
And so it sent me down this long trail of women who made up languages. And then I was off and running and completely inspired by the literary mystery of what happened to this author.
Do you have a favorite period of history that you'd like to live in?
Oh, I would love to be in 1950s Oxford. I
Why?
have written about that time period in a few of my other novels. And in my last novel, The Secret Book of Flora Lee, we are in a small Oxfordshire town right outside of Oxford. But that period, all the famous literary authors of that century, from Dorothy L. Sayers, C.S. Lewis,
Tolkien,
J.R.R. Tolkien, Graham Greene, The End of the Affair, come on, one of the best novels written. So that time period, to be in the middle of that literary renaissance would have been a dream for me.
Give everyone your beach reads for the summer.
All right, the first one I want to tell you about is definitely a book that should be in your beach bag, and that is called Beach House Rules by Christy Woodson Harvey. And it is about a mother-daughter duo whose life is upended, and they move into a commune on a southern small coastal town. And there's a twist coming you won't see.
Okay.
The next one I would like to suggest is The Stolen Life of Colette Marceau. It goes back and forth between World War II and present day, and is about two jewelry thieves, a priceless diamond bracelet, and a decades-old unsolved murder.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
And
you have one more?
Yeah, one more, and it's a debut. And I love talking about debuts because as new novelists burst on the scene, I like everybody
Give them a boost,
to
right?
know. Exactly. And it is written by Morgan Pager, and it is called The Art of Vanishing. And it is about a museum employee who can enter the frames and into the paintings, where she has a love story that might or might not be impossible. And it's the kind of colliding, my favorite kind of book, between magic and real life.
Oh, sounds great. Thank you for coming in.
I love talking to you.
Thank you. The Story She Left Behind is available right now.